When an acid is treated with Arrhenius base containing hydroxyl groups in it, it will give us salt and water as products. When a monobasic acid HCl is treated with monoacidic base sodium hydroxide in 1:1 ratio, it gives us salt and water. Let us consider sulfuric acid, which is a dibasic acid, meaning there are two replaceable hydrogen atoms in sulfuric acid. In other words, sulfuric acid is having two acidic hydrogen atoms. Now we can have two types of reactions with sulfuric acid, that is, sulfuric acid and sodium hydroxide treated in 1:1 ratio, sulfuric acid and sodium hydroxide treated in 1:2 ratio. In the first case, of the two acidic hydrogens, only one will react and we will have sodium bisulfite as the product. Since we have done the partial replacement of acidic hydrogens, this reaction is called as partial replacement or partial neutralization. In the second case, all acidic hydrogens are replaced by sodium hydroxide, giving sodium sulfate salt and water. This is called as complete replacement or complete neutralization. We are having one more type of acid-base reaction, that is acid reacted with Bronsted base giving just salt as the product. So we can be more specific in generalizing the statement. When an acid is treated with Arrhenius base, we get salt and water as products. When an acid is treated with Bronsted base, we get just salt as the product. So, salt can be defined as a compound formed by partial or complete replacement of the replaceable hydrogen or acidic hydrogen of an acid by a metallic ion like sodium, calcium, etc. or ammonium ion, that is NH4+. Another definition is salt is an ionic compound which dissociates to yield a positive ion other than H plus and a negative ion other than hydroxyl in solution. Salts are ionic compounds. They are non-volatile, hence they have high boiling point and melting point. They may be soluble or insoluble in water. A salt is made up of cation and anion. If we consider sodium chloride, it is made up of cation Na plus and anion Cl minus. NaCl can be seen as the product of reaction between sodium hydroxide base and hydrochloric acid. Since cation Na plus has come from sodium hydroxide base, cation of the salt can be called as basic radical. Similarly, Cl minus anion has come from hydrochloric acid, so anion of the salt can be called as acid radical. Water of crystallization is the fixed number of water molecules present per formula unit of the salt. If we consider hydrated copper sulfate, formula is CuSO4.5H2O. We can see there are 5 water molecules for 1 CuSO4. So, water of crystallization is 5. When we heat copper sulfate pentahydrate, it loses all water of crystallization and simply becomes CuSO4. Hydrated copper sulfate is blue in color. CuSO4 is white in color. Another example is washing soda. Formula is sodium carbonate decahydrate. Deca means 10. Since there are 10 water molecules for 1 Na2CO3, water of crystallization is 10 for washing soda. When we heat it, it loses all water of crystallization and just becomes sodium carbonate. Acid reacts with base to give salt and water. If we do the reverse reaction, that is, addition of salt into water gives acid and base. Since we are splitting salt using water, this is called as hydrolysis of salt. Hydro means water, lysis means splitting. Since we are splitting salt using water, this is hydrolysis of salt. Example, addition of these salts into water brings the hydrolysis. Sodium chloride in water gives sodium hydroxide base and HCl acid. Ammonium chloride will give ammonium hydroxide and HCl. Sodium acetate in water gives sodium hydroxide and acetic acid. Ammonium acetate in water gives ammonium hydroxide and acetic acid. To find out the base and acid, we can follow a simple method. First, split the salt. If we split sodium chloride, we will get Na plus and Cl minus. If we split ammonium chloride, we will get ammonium plus and Cl minus. If we split sodium acetate, we will get Na plus and CH3COO minus. Splitting ammonium acetate, we will get ammonium plus and CH3COO minus. We know water is having two components in it. One is H plus and another one is OH minus. Put the positive component of water with the negative of the salt and the negative component of the water with the positive component of the salt. So with Na plus we have to put OH minus with all this positive component of salt. That gives us sodium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide. On the other side, with the negative component of the salt, we have to add H plus. So this became HCl. This is also HCl. This became acetic acid. This also has become acetic acid. Now, in the name of hydrolysis, what we have done is we have added salt into water. So we are having salt solution. Depending upon the nature of base and acid present in salt solution, there will be a specific pH for the salt. Before addressing the salt pH of the salt, let us find out the nature of these bases and acids. Sodium hydroxide is a strong base. Ammonium hydroxide is a weak base. HCl is a strong acid. And acetic acid is a weak acid. pH of the salt solution will be decided by the nature of base and acid component present in it. Solution will normally take the nature of strong component present in the solution. In the first case, since sodium hydroxide and HCl both of them are strong, pH of the solution will be neutral, that is equal to 7. With the second salt, that is ammonium chloride, we have strong acid and weak base. Since the strong component is acid, pH will be less than 7 and the solution will be acidic. In the third salt, that is sodium acetate, strong component is basic in nature. So pH of the solution will be greater than 7, that is basic. In the last case, both the components are weak in nature. In this case, it is not possible to predict the pH of the solution. So, can't predict. It is important to memorize the solubility of salts in water, specifically at room temperature. We will be listing all soluble salts in water on this side and all insoluble salts in water on the right hand side. All sodium, potassium and ammonium salts are soluble in water at room temperature. All nitrates and nitrite salts are soluble in water. All bicarbonate salts are soluble in water except potassium and sodium bicarbonate. All sulfate salts are soluble in water except lead, silver, calcium and barium sulfate. All chloride salts are soluble in water except lead, silver and mercurous chloride. Lead chloride is insoluble in water at room temperature but is soluble at higher temperature, meaning it becomes soluble in hot water. All sulfite salts are insoluble in water except sodium, potassium and ammonium sulfites. All sulfites are insoluble in water except sodium, potassium and ammonium sulfites. All carbonates are insoluble in water except sodium, potassium and ammonium carbonates. All oxides are insoluble in water except sodium, potassium and ammonium oxides. All hydroxides are insoluble in water except sodium, potassium, and ammonium hydroxides. All phosphates are insoluble in water except sodium, potassium, and ammonium phosphates. Under classification of salts, we have three sections. First section is acid, normal, and basic salt. Second section is double, mixed, and complex salt. Third section is deliquescent, hygroscopic, and efflorescent salt. Acid salt contains replaceable hydrogen or acidic hydrogen atoms in it. It behaves like an acid in solution. Let us consider sulfuric acid, which is having two replaceable hydrogen atoms in it. So, its basicity is 2. Sodium hydroxide is having one hydroxyl group in it, so its acidity is 1. When sulfuric acid and sodium hydroxide are treated in 1:1 ratio, there happens partial replacement of acidic hydrogen atoms and we get sodium bisulfate, salt and water as products. We can see in sodium bisulfate, we still have one acidic hydrogen atom. So, this is an acid salt and behaves like an acid in solution. Generalizing, partial replacement of dibasic or tribasic acid by a base gives us acid salt. Other examples, H2CO3, that is bicarbonic acid, is a dibasic acid. When this is treated with sodium hydroxide in 1:1 ratio, we get sodium bicarbonate acid salt. Phosphoric acid, that is H3PO4, is a tribasic acid having 3 acidic hydrogen atoms in it. When phosphoric acid is treated with sodium hydroxide in 1:1 ratio, we get sodium dihydrogen phosphate salt. This is having 2 acidic hydrogen atoms in it. When phosphoric acid is treated with sodium hydroxide in 1:2 ratio, we get disodium hydrogen phosphate salt, which is having one replaceable hydrogen atom. On the other hand, normal salt is a salt which doesn't contain any replaceable hydrogen atoms in it. So, it is not expected to behave like an acid in solution. When sulfuric acid is treated with sodium hydroxide in 1:2 ratio, complete replacement of acidic hydrogen atom happens and we get sodium sulfate salt and water as products. So, complete replacement of acidic hydrogen atom by a base gives us a normal salt. Other examples, when bicarbonic acid is treated with sodium hydroxide in 1:2 ratio, we get a normal salt, sodium carbonate. When phosphoric acid is treated with sodium hydroxide in 1:3 ratio, we get sodium phosphate normal salt. Basic salt contains hydroxyl group in it. Few examples. Basic copper nitrate having one hydroxyl group here. Basic copper chloride hydroxyl group over here. In comparison to acid salt, basic salts are less discussed. We'll move on to the second section, that is double salt, mixed salt and complex salt. As the name itself indicates, double salt contains two simple salts. One is potash alum, that is K2SO4, Al2SO4 thrice, 24 water of crystallization. Here, K2SO4 is one simple salt, aluminum sulfate is another simple salt. So, potash alum is made up of two simple salts. Another example is more salt, that is ferrous ammonium sulfate. Here we have ferrous sulfate, one simple salt, ammonium sulfate, another simple salt. Along with that we are having 6 water of crystallization. Mixed salt contains two or more acid or basic radicals. This becomes clear with the example. Sodium potassium carbonate. Formula is NaKCO3. Here, to counter the acid radical CO3 2-, we have two types of basic radicals, that is Na plus and K plus. Another example is bleaching powder, that is calcium oxychloride, CaOCl2. If we write it properly, bleaching powder is CaOCl and Cl. To counter the basic radical calcium 2+, we are having two types of acid radicals, that is OCl minus and Cl minus. Last one is complex salt. This consists of a simple ion in it and a complex ion. Always we enclose the complex ion inside the square bracket. In this complex ion, we will be having a coordinate bond between the metals and the negative centers called as ligands, details of which you will be learning in your 12th standard. Example is sodium silver cyanide. Formula is NaAgCN twice. Here, Na plus is the simple ion. To counter that, we are having the complex ion AgCN2 whole minus. Another example is sodium zincate, that is Na2ZnO2. Here, simple ion is Na plus. There are 2 in it, and the complex ion is ZnO2 2 minus. Last section is deliquescent salt, hygroscopic salt, and efflorescent salt. Both deliquescent and hygroscopic salt absorb moisture from the atmosphere. Difference is deliquescent salt after absorbing the moisture changes to solution form, whereas hygroscopic salt remain in the solid form even after absorbing the moisture. Since it changes to solution form, deliquescent salts are to be stored in an airtight container, whereas hygroscopic salts can be used as a drying agent. Few examples are mentioned over here. This is calcium chloride exposed to atmosphere for a longer time, and after some time we can see it is changing into the liquid form. This is silica gel packets. Normally we see in newly purchased bags or suitcase or some containers where this is used to absorb the moisture present in the air in that container. Third one is efflorescent salt. All efflorescent salts are hydrated salts. When these salts are exposed to atmosphere, they lose their water of crystallization partly or fully. The very reason these salts exist in crystalline form is because of water of crystallization. When they lose this water of crystallization, these salts changes to amorphous form or powder form. Few examples are mentioned here.